In these questions, we're going to set up the percent proportion and then solve for our unknown value. So again, we're using the is over the of percent over 100, but in this case, one of them will be the variable. The one thing that will never change, however, is that 100. No matter what, that will be the 100. So let's take a look. What is 40% of 150? So if I'm using this is over of percent over 100, let's see what would go where. It says what is. Well, what does what mean? It means I don't know. That's the x. So the is the part. That's what I don't know. 40% is, of course, my percent, always going over 100. And then of 150, right there. So this is my percent proportion. Now, I'm actually trying to find what is 40% of 150. So to do that, I, of course, would cross multiply to solve. X times 100 is 100x. 150 times 40 would be 6,000. And then I would divide by 100 on each side, and I would get x equals 60. So the question is, what is 40% of 160? 40%, I'm sorry, of 150 is 60. 60 is 40% of 150. Here are 3 for us to try. Again, each time, same proportion, is over of percent over 100. So what is, that's my x, what is would be the x on top, 30%, always percent over 100, of 150. This is the way I'm going to set it up to start with. To write the equation, I'll cross multiply. 100x equals 4,500. I would divide by 100 on each side. Remember, not 100x, but 100. That gives me x equals 45. Go back to the question, make sure it makes sense. 45 is 30% of 150. Yes, that would make sense. Let's try the next. 20 is 15% of what number? So 20 is tells me 20 goes on top. That's the part. 15% is a percent over 100. And then of what number? That's my x. So that's the whole that I don't know this time. I knew the part, but not the whole. Cross multiply. 20 times 100 is, of course, 2,000. 15 times x is 15x. If I divide each side by 15, I end up with an ugly number, and it's 133.3 repeating equals x. Last one that we do together, 9 is what percent of 12? So here, I don't have a percent. I'm finding the percent. What percent? 9 is of 12. And then I would cross multiply. 9 times 100 is 900. 12 times x is 12x. I divide each side by 12, and I end up with 75%. Be very careful on this one because it's very easy to forget to label with that percent sign, but 75% is 9 of 12. Try these 3 questions on your own, then press play to see how you did. The first one, what is 10% of 3,500? Again, is over of, percent over 100. The percent here is 10. Of is the whole, that's 3,500. I'm trying to find the part. X times 100 is 100x. 3,500 times 10 is 35,000. And then, of course, divide by 100 on each side. And that leaves me with x equals 350. So 350 is 10% of 3,500. Now, you might think, well, why did I have to set up a proportion? Why can't I just set an up equation? Why can't I just multiply by 0.1? In a lesson coming up, we'll talk about how to set up the equation. But again, this is an algebra class, so it's important that you understand how the equation would work, how the proportion would work. Next question, 4 is 16% of what number? Again, they tell me the percent over 100, always over 100. 4 is that part of what number, means I don't know the whole. 4 times 100, is 400. 16 times x is 16x. If I divide each side by 16, I end up with 25 equals x. X equals 25, so 24 is 16% of 25. And last one, 80 is what percent of 3,200? Is goes on top of 3,200 goes here. I have no idea what the percent is. That's what I'm trying to solve. And I would get 8,000 equals 3,200x. Dividing each side by 3,200. I end up with 2.5 equals x. Remember, this is what percent though, so it's 2.5%.